Welcome back. I am taking a walk. I decided that the days that I don't go to the gym, I will take a walk. And you're supposed to take a certain amount of steps every day, you know. And I think it's like 10,000 steps to mastery. Read some book on that or something like that. 10,000 hours worth of steps. You have absolute mastery of walking. I think it's as long as it took me when I was, well, I learned to walk when I was 5, so. Anyhow, so as I'm walking here, I had this thought. Why not bring a really big, expensive, complicated camera rig, which would be a totally natural thing to bring along on a walk, and talk to you guys about wild plant foraging. There's this idea with wild plant foraging that maybe you could go feed yourself, you know, in an emergency type situation based on plants. And it actually doesn't work that easily. I went on a hike on the Appalachian Trail at one point. Now, I didn't actually hike the entire Appalachian Trail. I just hiked the approach trail, which was really cool. My friend Fred said, "Hey, I'm gonna do this thing. Do you wanna come along?" I said, "Whoa, yeah, awesome. I could do that, I think." So we did like a 13-mile hike or something like that, which was fantastic. But I was thinking, you know, if we get hungry, I could probably find food along the way. I am really good with plants. I mean, in Florida, I could always find something to eat. And as I was doing that, looking along, I realized that I didn't actually know a lot of the plants that grew there. I thought, well, this time of year I should find some persimmons. I didn't find any persimmons. Got to a point where I was like, you know, maybe if I rolled over some logs, I could find some grubs and we could toast the grubs. That would be, it's not exactly a plant, but I didn't even find any grubs. So with great disappointment, I had to eat the, you know, hot chocolate and crackers and peanut butter and stuff that Fred had brought along. But I was gravely disappointed, and I didn't really speak well for my survival skills. But when you're looking at plants, just in general, plants are not particularly calorie dense for the most part. There's a lot of writing on wild plant foraging and videos on wild plant foraging. Like, if you're not subscribed to Green Dean, you should be. Green Dean's fantastic. But a lot of the things that you find out in the wild, they may be edible, but they're not particularly filling. We grow crops like potatoes and turnips and pumpkins and sweet potatoes and corn, various grains, because they fill you up. But if you go out just wild foraging, I mean, look at the stuff behind me here. There are some edible greens you might find. There's plenty of greens. There are tons of greens that are edible. You can eat shoots from this, and you can cook the leaves of this, and you can eat, you know, thistle leaves, and you can eat Biden's alba, and you can chew on lots of things, but they really don't fill you up. Like, I could make salads all day out in the wild, but will that actually fill me up? Not really. It's actually kind of difficult. If you want to fill yourself up, you're going to have to trap a squirrel or something to go along with those greens. So, if you're going to wild forage, you should probably know how to get animal foods as well. And also identify the root crops in your area. Root crops are usually the best return, the best bang for your buck. In the tropics, there are a lot of yams and things that are really easy to grow and very easy to find and forage. There are crops that have escaped cultivation and are wandering around wild through the woods. Where we lived in Grenada, there were these amazing big yams growing out in the woods, and when it got to the winter, anybody that was poor would just go out and dig them in the woods. And plenty of people that weren't poor would go out and dig them in the woods. Just any open piece of ground, go and find yourself some yams. But it's not really the case in a lot of North America that you're going to find a big carb-filled route. I mean, you're better off finding a deer or something like that, if you can, to keep yourself full. There's a lot of good nutrition that you can get through foraging. And in some places, if you're really good, you'll find things like, you know, cabbage palm hearts, and maybe you could make a turtle soup. But I'm just foraging my neighborhood. I'll get berries and elderberries. There are very few roots that are here that are particularly good to eat. There's a lot of greens that I can find, but high calorie? Not really. Deer, rabbit, squirrel, maybe raccoon and possum if you're really hungry. But foraging for all the calories you need is actually pretty much a full-time job. And this is why agriculture led to cities and leisure time and the NFL and stuff like that. There's food out there, but I highly recommend learning how to grow a good amount yourself. If you're going to grow something, grow those high calorie dense things that'll fill you up, like corn and sweet potatoes. And if you really want nutrient dense food, you can go out and forage for your greens. That's just a couple of thoughts for today. Catch y'all next time, and until then, may your thumbs always be green.